Reticuli star system has long been a topic of interest for science fiction enthusiasts, conspiracy theorists, and alien hunters alike. 39 light-years from Earth, this binary star system contains two main stars, Zeta Reticuli 1 and Zeta Reticuli 2. Both orbit each other at a distance of about 370 astronomical units. Fascinatingly, they are both almost identical stars to our Sun, a double sun system, if you will. Hi everyone, Vega here, and in today's video we're going to revisit Zeta Reticuli and consider whether its relative fame is deserved. So, let's get to it. First discovered in the 1800s, the Zeta Reticuli system has captured the imagination of many due to its potential to harbour life. In the 60s and 70s, a number of supposed alien abduction cases emerged, with many individuals claiming to have been taken aboard extraterrestrial spacecraft by beings from Zeta Reticuli. While the veracity of these claims is still widely debated, they helped popularize.
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome, Roger Blair, Val, Denise, Gary Spikes, Penny Van, Gene, Catherine. Hello there, everybody. So tonight, we don't know. Am I going to be here, Liana? Are you going to go to the faraway galaxy with us? So let's see where we're going to go. Hello there, Christopher. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing, Chris?
Wonderful. So the Zeta. A lot of people don't know what that is, kind sir. The Zeta race.
Now we're going to get into that tonight. It's a fantastic race of aliens.
Yeah, welcome everybody. A round of applause.
Welcome,
so,
everyone.
Yes, welcome. So, can you hear me okay? Am I coming through all right?
Perfect. Absolutely.
All right, great. You're right. So, yeah, a lot of people don't know about the Zetas and the aliens and the galaxy and the planets from there. And I had to actually look it up, and I was like, yeah, I do remember that. So I had to do some homework on that one.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. In fact, the Zetas are sometimes known as the Greys, which I have actually met a few times. And, of course, the Zeta Reticuli constellation is a star system that sometimes looks and shines like a double star.
Right.
In the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, like I said, that's why I wanted to show a little video clip to show where that was at, and especially how it compared to our sun. Very interesting. Welcome, Curtis. Round of applause for Curtis.
Welcome, yes. Curtis, Penny, Gene, everyone.
Yeah, so very interesting. So take us away, Christopher.
Oh, yeah, the Zeta Reticuli. Of course, I've had a few encounters with them over the years. Like my recent encounter, I've had several, but one of the ones I remember the most was last October when I was taken aboard a craft, and I was met with a what I referred to at the time. I thought it looked like a large grasshopper, which later found out they said a praying mantis, and we embraced and hugged each other as if we knew each other, which we did. When I'm up there on a craft, I do have full memory, and everything comes back to me, so we embraced, but there's so much interesting facts. In fact, the Zeta Reticuli, their lifespan is over 150 years. They can live that long. And in fact, they were actually, in some cases, people refer to them as time travelers because they can go from the past to the future, and people think that they're here. They're here to observe us, and they are. They're here to observe us and help us grow and populate because, as I've been told, we are the only friends that they have. And they want to protect planet Earth, and they, of course, can do so much as far as love and healing, and that's what they're here for: is to heal us and love us. Some people say they are descendants of the reptilians, or that they are reptilians. But I know for a fact they had an encounter years back. They had an encounter with the reptilians, and the reptilians actually destroyed their planet. But they, of course, the Zetas being a strong in a group of ETs, they were able to overcome that and make peace with the reptilians. They don't like to hold grudges or nothing. Anybody have any questions up to this point before we continue? I got lots of photos and evidence to show. And
so I got an image. I'll try to share it real quick. Welcome, Rachel. Nice to have you here.
Hello,
Is that it's very interesting that the different type of aliens that are out there that people know of. And here's a kind of an image of different ones that people have witnessed and encountered, and these are artist renderings of eyewitness testimonies that people actually said they have endured over, I don't know how many years, but the different ones. So I just want to throw that up to let people get a good little quick glimpse of it. They're just like humans, different races and species. Now, I don't know. I'm not familiar with all these ones that are out there, so I couldn't tell you one from another. But I just want to throw it up there on the board for everybody to get a quick glimpse of it.
Well, yes, that is fantastic. And yeah, there are a lot of different races of aliens. Some people say up to 65 different races or more. And when I say 65, those are just the ones that we know of. In some cases, there could even be more because when you think about the universe, the solar system, it is so huge that there's so many areas we have yet to even explore. Even if we could get to all of them, I don't know how long it will take. Probably forever.
Right. Denise is asking, Christopher, did the Zeta ever tell you where they came from?
Yes, I recently went under hypnotic regression therapy, and so under that, I was able to recall a lot of my experiences and memories, and actually, some of their home bases, one of their home bases, at least the one that I was taken to, come to find out, was Jupiter. They do live on the Zeta Reticuli constellation, but they also have a base on Jupiter, at least I was taken to. And I can recall that very vividly because under hypnosis, I was able to see the craft, and I was able to go inside and see everything. The pathway leading up to the craft was, oddly enough, a golden pathway, and the pathway had triangles on the left and right hand side of it. And these were very, very clear memory of that. Walking up to the front door of the craft, and the door on the craft looked to be like a basic, ordinary wooden door, but then on the craft itself was humongous. I remember looking up at the entire structure. The structure was black, but it was humongous, and I remember going up to the door, and then after that, I remember being inside the craft. Gene says that we all, well, I have a different opinion, but as far as I think, if you are kidnapping people and experimenting on them, then you are. Yeah, we in MUFON, a lot of us don't use the term abductions because abduction is more like a kidnapping. We use more of the term taken or being helped. But yeah, some people still refer to it as abductions. Welcome, Julie. Um, the Zetas live to be 150 years old, or some people, sometimes they can even live a little bit longer than that. Um, they've often said that we are all one cohesive unit, which is true because everything that you look at is all made by one source. And so we are all one cohesive unit. Um, and we all worship the same, as we refer to as God, we all worship the same source. We all worship the same higher being. That's what they refer to God as, the higher being. They don't refer to him as necessarily God himself, just as a higher being or a higher source. Um, they are very kind individuals. The Zetas are extremely kind. I've met, like I said, I've met, as I sometimes refer to as my star family up there. And my job here on Earth, based on hypnosis, when I was under, my job here on Earth is to heal and help other people, which I do that, and I've been doing that for years. And I don't like to think that I like to think like I can help as many people as I can, and that's why I do all the work I do is to help other people. The Zetas can be just like humans in some cases. They can look just as plain Jane as you or me, and they do have some of them have a gray look to them, and they're also known as the Greys too, besides just being known as the Zetas. That's what we in MUFON refer to them as the Zeta race. Some people like to use the whole term Zeta Reticuli. Um, the ones I've encountered, my family and others up there aboard craft, is very peaceful and loving, and that's what they're here for. They are here to heal and help other people. And as you see in the photo here that Chris is sharing, Zeta Reticuli hybrid races, humanoid blue Zetas, android, um, hybrid on the planet Alphares in the Andromeda Galaxy.
So yeah, I did not know that they come in different. I almost said the wrong word, but they're different. They're just not one species in Zetas.
Right. NSPS. Questions for you guys. How do you all feel about Billy Carson and his beliefs on aliens and how the world was created? Not familiar with Billy Carson. I do know that in 1961 is when one of the first reports of Zeta was ever laid out, and that was from Betty and Barney Hill. They were one of the first people to claim to be abducted or taken by the Zeta race. They are the Kathleen Martin. She's their niece and nephew, and what happened with them, with Billy, with Betty and Barney Hill, is they were driving home one night when they saw a light come down from the sky. For those who are not familiar, I'll briefly touch on this. A light from the sky came down, a blue light, and next thing they knew, they were being taken. And when they were later returned, they of course had to face the media and the press and everybody saying that none of this actually happened, that you guys are making this up. And they went under hypnosis therapy, and or I guess Barney and Betty both did, and they were able to recall their, as you say, abduction. And even to this day, people still think that they didn't actually get taken, but there's still people that said that they made it up. But it is true, they did get taken, and it is a true story. So I can say that for a fact.
Now, there's a couple of questions on the board for you, Christopher. Number one, Julianne, do you know of any aliens that open portals? Or do they all open portals? We'll start with that one.
Not personally, I don't know any, but they do open portals because they can. In fact, if you look at some of the accounts of even like Skinwalker Ranch, there's been reports of them coming in and out of the sky, just out of the clear blue, like you'll see, oh, something just appears out of nowhere. So I do believe that they do come from portals. Because if you look at the sky, if you see something just come out of the sky and you didn't see it actually come north or west, it just appeared, that could be a portal.
Roger Blair asks, is there any aliens that look similar to humans, sort of like the Vulcans on Star Trek?
In some cases, the Zetas have been known to look like humans. I've even known a few other races, I don't know their names in particular, and that are very, very, very much like humans. In fact, I know, I won't give out names, but I do know a few people I work with that humans that have known some friends that are a member of the alien race and walk amongst Earth.
Let's see here. The next question, Julianne, again, what species might be considered angels, if any of them?
Hi, that's a good question. I'm not for sure on that. I would like to think that because if you think about we are just simply a conscience that is placed into a human body, of a human form, and when we're placed in the human form, we can walk around and live our lives. But when you think about a conscience, that's kind of like what an angel or even a spirit is. Just we're all kind of the same. We're just placed into a human form or animal form to be seen and to walk amongst Earth. I think we're all in ways kind of like angels because we're all gifts from a higher source.
LinkedIn user that's watching, thank you, LinkedIn user, for watching. I have several encounters with the ETs, but I have awakened with a powerful gray ET. Gene Hudson, I have a question, Christopher. Is the movie Men in Black more real than we think? Because I believe aliens do walk among us.
It is very. I do believe that the Men in Black movie does have a little bit of truth to it. Of course, it is just simply a movie, but if you look at the movie, a lot of the stuff they mentioned in that movie, and doing my research, it is true. Some of that stuff is definitely. And Rachel says, this might be a dumb question, but are mantis beings a form of gray aliens like a race of Zetas? Absolutely, they are. In fact, that is who I encountered back in October. I won't go into details, but when I had my encounter, I was embraced with a praying mantis, and we hugged because I know him personally.
Multi-Troy 63. Do they believe in God?
Yes, they do. They call it the higher source. Like I mentioned earlier, they don't call it God. They call it the higher source or the higher being, because we're all one. We're all made from one source, so we're all one family. Like.
Interesting. Very good questions. Hello, Tammy Johnson. Welcome to the show. Very good. I understand you got some pictures also to show us, don't you?
Yes, I do. And we'll take a look at a few of those pictures now, and hope everybody enjoys this. I'll go here to my presets and.
While you're doing that, Julianne writes, there were light beings I experienced. They opened a small portal in front of me during my experience. Hello, Multi-Troy 63. Welcome to the show. Round of applause for you. With the LinkedIn viewer, welcome. Another question. I watched a YouTube live where a young woman came on and talked about a military base that had many lower levels, and she was guarded very tall white aliens that ran a lab. I've heard about that. And somebody 4.5 years ago was in a conversation with our conversation circle, had prior knowledge of that actually admitted to know somebody that was affiliated with that program, and said, yes, it does exist. And yes, that they are working with such aliens. Who is the guy? Oh, I can't think of the guy. I always get them confused. One of them's alive and one of them's dead. John Greer. Is that the correct guy I'm thinking of?
I think you're
Or
correct.
is it, yeah, the one that says that if something happens to me, all the information is going to be plastered across the world. That's the only reason why he's alive today. Well, anyways, he has actually went on record before and said the same thing. Liana King, what is your opinion on secret space programs as well as government involvement in those programs, Christopher?
I do believe that the secret space programs and the government, I believe they're hiding a lot more than what they're letting on to us. I do know from a few people, I won't give out names, but that they had family that worked on some of the underground bases, and that those bases are just like another like a small city, restaurants, shopping centers, apartment buildings, different things, and that's where they do a lot of their underground secret alien based work in some cases. When you think about the government and everything they've released so far, they're giving us just little bits of trickle of information. They're not giving us everything. Over time, I think we will all learn enough and have enough encounters to where we will know more truth than maybe what they'll ever give us, if they ever do give us a lot more.
Well, I said like Independence Day with Will Smith. That movie was scrubbed 13 times by the government before it was actually released. Why is that? There had to have some truth into that movie that they were disclosing, because no government agency, especially the United States, is going to be interested in some sci-fi movie. So yes, they were disclosing something for it to be scrubbed, right?
Exactly, and I would say this. Right now, we have a device. I'll let everybody know about this. It's a device that I have here in my home, and a lot of other people have it too. It's called the MIDAR device. MIDAR, they call it in some cases. What MIDAR is a little device. It's no bigger than a cell phone here, and this device will pick up on ETs or extraterrestrial ships as they fly over. Because what happens is when an ET ship flies over, the pressure, the atmosphere pressure, and even the temperature can sometimes change. Well, this device picks up on those changes, and what it will do is it will send you a text message and a little bit of an alarm that goes off, alerting you of a ship nearby, which gives you a chance to go out and photograph it or take videos or whatever. Plus, the MIDAR company also gets an alert, so they can also calculate the information and file it as a report. And funny that we have this now, because the government released a little device of their own that also kind of does the same thing, kind of like a copycat type situation. Now, and if they're saying they don't believe in ETs, they don't have no proof of it, why are they creating such devices?
It's just interesting when the presidents that were in office were asked about ETs and aliens. They said they cannot comment on it, but they know.
Oh
They
yes,
know.
if anybody wants to buy one of those devices, you can look it up on Google. Just type up Madar UFO device, you'll find it. Tammy says, if people don't believe that government is doing experiments on aliens and allowing aliens to study us, it's sad. It's a plain common sense. I will also say this: the government themselves, some of these higher up people, they have also made their own versions of craft that they fly and kind of try to mimic a UFO. They Some of the crafts that they fly make you think it's a UFO, but it's not. The one way to tell if it's a UFO or a government man-made craft is simply the fact that if it's a UFO, it's going to have movement that is out of this world. It's going to vanish in thin air. It's going to have no exhaust, no nothing. It's going to be able to do things that we just when you look at you, whoa, what was that? A man-made government type craft. They're getting pretty good at being able to mimic a UFO. But if you watch closely, there are still some differences. You can tell a man made from a government craft. I mean, from a real craft.
Well, it just goes to show, right? And I'll bring up a picture. Here is a man-made UFO from 1974, right? And everybody remembers this image. Remember that image right there?
Oh yeah, classic.
So if they have not been working on that image, look at that. 1974. So what does that tell you?
Right. And the thing is, they've been telling us all this time they're not investigating this, they're not doing anything. Oh, they are. Trust me, they are. I know they are. I think part of the reason they don't tell us a whole lot is because they're trying to avoid panic in the streets in some cases. But I think we're all smart enough that we can make our own decisions if we believe or not.
I still think that I don't know. I think if they came out today and said and actually tell us the truth, I think some people would probably have a meltdown. I do think that. But sadly enough, I don't think the people can handle the government lying to them. I think that's what's the biggest thing. All the lies they've been telling for so many years. Well, if you stop and think, since Roswell, right?
Right.
Since they covered that up.
And that was real too, believe me. That was also real. That really did happen. And in fact, one of the first things that maybe people don't notice, the first thing that happened when the crash happened at Roswell, the first thing they did was they released news that a UFO had crashed, and then they immediately changed their story and said, "No, never mind. It was something else." But yeah, it did happen. I know for a fact. And I'm gonna do a screen share now. We're gonna show you some photos of the Zeta race.
All right, let me close some of these windows out here. Yeah, look at all the albums came out in the 70s that had spaceships on the covers, right? Isn't that the truth?
Boston had a good cover of a UFO album, if you know the band Boston.
Yeah.
Hello, Tammy Johnson. Thanks for watching. Hello, everybody, for watching. And I believe we did see a UFO, Rachel, in 2014. That's the same year I saw my UFO in June or July. Are we ready for a screen share?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Okay. I thought you had to close some stuff first.
No, right. I already closed them.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get ready. We're going to see a great photo of the Zeta race.
So NSPS TV is asking, do you believe the Anunnaki were the first group of aliens? You know, I do believe in the Anunnaki. I do believe in what they say. Yes, I do believe in all that. Absolutely.
And this is a picture you see here, several photos here of the Zeta race. Some people call them the Greys. You can see different photos. The one you see right here in the bottom right, this was more or less of what I encountered back in October when I went up and saw my per se family. It looked just like this, but more of a darker green color. like a praying mantis, but look just like this in the face. And this right over here on the left, this is more of a typical gray some people refer to as. And some people say the grays have just a slit for a mouth and just a few small holes for the nose. But this pretty much gives you a roundabout idea of what they look like. I'm sure everybody might have their own different opinions on these, but these are some of the standard images. And some people say that Zetas are members of the reptilian, or that they're descendants from the reptilian. I would have to. I can't really say that for sure. I do know that the Zeta race did battle the reptilians because the reptilians destroyed their planet, but the Zetas were able to retaliate and to come out stronger, and they have made peace with the reptilians, so there's no more fighting or wars going on. And if you look back over time, over the years, some people in some of the reports, newspaper articles, they were reporting the Zetas and the Greys long before Betty and Barney Hill had their first abduction. But the Betty and Barney Hill story was the first one to ever go publicly worldwide known. Sorry about that. All right, we are back.
All right. So somebody asked what the Anunnaki, what, who? So the Anunnaki, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones that we see a lot in Egypt. And here's some pictures, right? See if we can blow it up. There's reference a lot in Egypt and the pyramids. And these are the ones that we call the ones that, well, it says right here, the forbidden history of the Anunnaki. But these are the ancient ones. So, and there's some more images, but if you just do a Google search, you see them all over the place.
Right.
Maybe we need to do a show on that.
Glad you showed those photos, because if you go back to some of the old pyramids and some of the old markings and stuff, there were markings on some of the pyramids and stuff that looked identical to UFO spacecraft lights coming down, and so it just goes to show you how far back this stuff dates. Even the good book known as the Bible has got stories that represent bright lights and things in the sky. So, oh yes,
right. NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. Why you need to see aliens never in the hood, dude? You don't see Grizzly in the hood either. Hey man, I lock my doors and speed through there. Yeah, they just fly over. They don't stop and get gas. They go to the next gas station. That's why. But anyways, that was funny. I had to put that one in there. They look like they got wings. Yeah. So, yeah, they were big, tall, strong. They're the ones that's supposed to enslave the Egyptians to build everything. It's long history there. But anyways, I hope you got a good laugh off that.
Oh, yeah.
So. All right, what other pictures do you have?
All right, yes. We're going to do this. Let me get some next picture loaded up here. We got some great photos to show you here tonight, folks. Because when you look at the ET structure, there's so many different races of ET, so many different forms of aliens, and this is a good photo here. I will show everybody. Now, as we mentioned earlier, 1961, Betty and Barney Hill was one of the first publicly known UFO encounters of this Zeta.
Now, didn't she save the dress from the radiation burns?
Yep. The dress was saved, and
yeah, she did save it. And didn't her car? They saved the car for a lot of years, and didn't her paint bubble or something too?
Yep.
Yes.
And even the dress they saved, they've actually had that analyzed over the years.
Right.
They've been able to find stuff on that dress that is not typically normal for.
Yes.
I'll do a screen share here, and we're going to show you a photo of. Now, what you're going to see here,
even though they had wings, I think they depicted that because they flew. The Anunnaki, they came from the heavens. Yeah, that's a picture of them right there.
And you see in the drawing that is what Barney drew as what he thought of being the ship that he saw. And if you look at the corners, it looks like it's got wings coming out of the left and right hand side. And that
Gene
was
Hudson asks, is there any information or truth about the Greys being enslaved by the reptilians?
I have not heard anything about being enslaved, other than the fact that the reptilians and the Greys or the Zetas, as you say, did get into a fight. The Zetas planet was ruined, pretty much destroyed, but the Zetas were able to fight back, retaliate, and then later on make peace with the reptilians. So there's no more fighting.
I thought the reptilians was the bad race.
Yeah, they are, but the Zetas made peace with them over the years. That they're no longer in a fight with each other, but they don't communicate. They keep their distance in a lot of ways. They do keep their distance. I will say that for a fact.
Oh, okay.
And you see in the photo, this is what Barney drew as what he thought the UFO ship that he was on or taken on looked like. This is his actual drawing. This is a real photograph, and you can see Betty over here in the corner, and of course their dog. I don't remember what the dog's name was, but they were actually under hypnosis. Barney and Betty were able to recall so much about their abduction, and to this day, people still kind of doubt that they were taken. However, it is true they were taken. I was Kathleen Martin, their niece, could tell you a whole. If you go to YouTube, just look up the Betty Barney Hill abductions. Their niece, Kathleen Martin, has got some tremendous online podcasts where she describes everything clear down to the dress that Betty was wearing, about all the markings on it that they found out was real. That no way could a human have made those kind of. You'll see it in the videos. They're great. There's so many of them to watch.
So Gene Hudson's asking you, Christopher. So they do have a treaty between each other?
They do, yes. They at one point they were fighting. The Zetas cannot hold a grudge. They love everybody, so they were able to make peace and move on. But they keep their distance. They don't socialize.
Then why is it that they abduct people, take people without their will?
The Zetas do not abduct. They take people. This is the truth. They take people because there is a contract between you and them from your conscience that allows them to take you. You have an agreement with them. You don't know it. You may not be consciously aware of it, but over the years, you have made at some point, you have made an agreement with them to be taken. And if you don't want to be taken anymore, you can tell them to break your contract. You can tell them you don't want that contract to be valid anymore, and they will stop taking you. They do not abduct. They take and they heal and they help. Abduction is kind of a harsh word because that is more like what a person does to a child or somebody else, but they take you.
NSPS TV. So Anunnaki went to war with one another or with another species or the planet. That's why they are so much glass in the desert. I actually heard that. I heard that's where they thought the nuclear bombs actually were tested, or they had a nuclear war. And yes, about the nuclear or the glass found in the desert, because there's no way that from the results from our nuclear testing, they could not comprehend why or how what they found is what we found after we did our testing. So yes, there's some relevance to that. It was very interesting that you brought that up. If I don't think I said it right in that order, but yes, I know what you're talking about. John, I say some are looking for the God principle. Yes, that is true. Julianne, I have some aliens that hang out around me. How do I get them to brief me and talk to me?
What you would do, Julie, is that it? Yeah, Julie, just simply close your eyes and picture them and tell them in your mind, tell them repeatedly what you want to know, and then relax. At some point, it may not happen that day, but at some point you will get a response. But you gotta relax and close off your left side of your brain. Listen over here with your right side. Just listen. You will get a message.
So Gene Hudson says, so our government gave us to them, and they take us till we know we can tell them to shove it. Well, I mean, that's what you're saying? Rachel, dang. How many planets did the reptilians destroy?
As far as I know, they only destroyed one, and that was the Zeta planet. But the Zetas have since moved on to another star system, and they also live on Jupiter on some parts. On some parts of the Jupiter, I started to say the backside, but on some part of Jupiter, I know because in my hypnotic regression session, I was able to go back and retrace everything. I could get into that in another episode. Thank you, Julie.
She said, I've tried. I'll call them later. Some people say it takes practice. John Greer does that one method, SE5, or what's it called?
Yeah, it's a CE5 contact.
CE5, yes.
If you want to do the CE5, folks, you can download that as an app on your phone. And what it does is it plays different tones that attracts the ETs or the extraterrestrials. There's no guarantees that it'll work. Although I will say the first time I used the CE5 out in the country, the first time I did the CE5 protocols, the first time, the whole area got completely silent. And then after about maybe five minutes or so, every animal in the country started howling and whining at the exact same time for several minutes.
Well, that's spooky. Leanna Kring. Hey, Kring, how you doing tonight, King? So, do you have any details on the Orion War?
I do know about the Orion constellation because I actually work with a gentleman who knows all about Orion and briefed me on it. But I do not know about any wars with them. I do know that the Orion compass does have a conscience, and he can walk amongst us. I'll say that much.
Yes, Mary Burns, Stephen Greer. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, he did develop the CE5. He's the one that knows all about the aliens, and he's the one that our government is afraid of. But however, he will say on record, and he does say on record, the only reason he's alive is because what he knows and what is on standby if something happens to him. Julianne says, my experience with the portal and then seeing a UFO later that night, I used my tuning forks to call for help. They showed up. So, I'll be honest with you. I've got tuning forks. I got the whole set, the different frequencies. And I watched people use certain ones, and it's actually got me a little nervous using those. So, yes. Crystal says, I honestly don't believe we'll ever get disclosure in our lifetime. You know what? They are saying, here's the deal. People already know. I mean, for the government to come out and say we've been lying to you since the crash, Roswell crash, or, I don't know. So, yeah. What do you think, Christopher?
I will say this. We don't have any more information now, really, than we did a few years ago. I think in the next 10 years, we're still going to be pretty much in the same boat. I think the only way we're going to get all the information is by the ETs showing themselves, coming down and showing themselves, or by all of us doing the research ourselves and gaining the information, because the government's not going to give it to us because they want to keep everything more of a hush-hush, because the more they know that they keep to themselves, the more power and control they have over us. So,
well, you got the Vatican that came out and said we got a UFO. Is that fake news or what?
It's not fake news, no. But who's to say? How many of us have actually seen anything that they're talking about? So the government said
that. Supposedly they got stuff from Satan in the Vatican. Yes. So the government said the UFOs are. I never forget that during the pandemic. Nobody else paid attention when they made that announcement. We have to go with misappropriation of taxpayer dollars. Well, hell, look at NASA. You think we went to the moon?
You think about when they made that statement during COVID. They made that at a time when
pandemic.
Yes,
there we go. Some of us believe that the Anunnaki made Adam and Eve in the Fountain of Youth. Yes. Crystal, yeah, we know. We'll just never get the they're here. You know what? People said, I'll believe it when they land, right? And that's when they flew over the White House, what, in 47?
Yep.
Right? Exactly, Susan. I know, Gene. I'm just saying, I mean, no matter what happens, it's not going to be I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, you know what? People don't believe in Bigfoot until they walk into them in the middle of the woods. Crystal, you know what? We already got tuned into. Right now, we're probably being watched by certain people. I guarantee you. John says the Vatican is just as trustworthy as our government. We just brought up. You crack me up, John. Tammy, I wonder if we make contact with them to be curious about them or have a relationship with them. Do they believe this is permission to experiment or abduct us? Or individually, can we say no?
Yeah, Tammy, I can elaborate on that. We make contact with them because we are curious about them. A lot of people have their sightings and they want to know more, so they do try to make contact. And in some cases, when they try to make contact, they will get contact back. If you truly believe and really want to ask for contact, you can look into the night sky and tell them you want to see them or hear them or witness them. And if you do that often enough, don't be surprised if you don't actually see a craft. I mean, I live out in the country. If I ask for them to show themselves, I'd almost guarantee you within a few days I would see something in the sky. Almost guarantee it.
I don't know, NSPS TV. We still got people believe we went there and came back on what? You know, I sit there and watch that video or the anyways. You know what? No means no. And it still happens. Just saying. You know, everybody wants to believe that these things are cute and cuddling and, you know, hold my beer moment. I'm going to go play with it. What the hell? And here's people tormented and scared and everything.
I will say this. A lot of people think about ETs in some cases being violent or evil. Yes, there are some races that are mean and evil. There are humans that are mean and evil, and there are some that are very kind and polite. And so even up there in space, you have different races that are some are evil, some are nice. And so Rachel says, I would love to explore the Vatican Library. That would be great to witness and explore.
Yeah, I would too. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm
just saying, Tammy. I'm just saying.
I've had people invite me to go check out Skinwalker Ranch. I say, well, I don't think so.
You know, it's just, we had people on here from Skinwalker Ranch, from Frog Ranch, and I mean, they have some very interesting stuff. And if we stop and think about World War I and World War II, right? And we think about that for a minute. Think about the Foo Fighters. Russia, all these different countries were seeing what UFOs phenomenon they didn't recognize. And what did they think? They thought it was us. We thought it was them. We didn't know what it was. We thought it was each other with secret technology. We thought about it for years until what? Until we start talking to each other. Like, man, what is that you all got? Well, we thought it was you. No, it's you. Isn't it? No, it's not us. It's you. Then we're like, oh crap. It's not us. It's somebody that we don't know about. It's outside of this world. And that's when the world came to a standstill almost. So, NSPS TV. I bet my man Bob is laughing his rink off right now, holding it. Yeah, I bet so. Jillian, we were colonized by aliens years ago. They gave us knowledge. We got, you know what? They say we're the Matrix. We're living in the Matrix. I wonder for the experiment, to be honest. Just saying.
All right, and everybody keep your eyes to the skies, because if you look in the sky at night, every night keep looking, you're going to eventually see a spacecraft. I could almost guarantee you, because they do fly around. They come around more than what we notice. We don't always see them because we're not always looking. And should we look at one more photo here tonight? Let's do a screen share.
Yeah, last photo. Why not? Do we live in the Matrix, Christopher?
I believe it's possible. Sure. I also believe that we can also manifest whatever we want into our reality, because they say the world we live in is just an illusion. But
well, that's true too.
Tammy says, I love our diversity here. I don't like it when people have a bad experience with the group and say how evil they are in Dogman. Some people have good relationships with their clan. I have a good relationship with my star family. All right, here we go. This is a good photo of a gray, or as we call them, Zetas. Do a screen share, and this is a nice big photo. I think everybody would get a good kick out of this. Here we go, and this is
He's operating, isn't he?
There's a good photo of what we refer to as grays or Zetas. As you can see, they have fingers, eyes, nose, a face similar to us. Actually, some of the grays and some of the Zetas do have hair too, despite what you see in this photo. Some of them just have full head of hair, even facial hair. No joke.
Interesting. Well, it's just there's so much out there outside of our world that's unexplained. I mean, they're here for a reason, and I don't know what the reason is. Some say so we don't destroy ourselves, destroy our planet. There's a reason why they turn on and off our nuclear weapons, just like they do Russians, because they do it to Russia too, to let them know who's in control. And they're doing stuff to our government agency that they're not disclosing to us. I mean, look at the jellyfish that went through the camp that they disclosed. What was it, last year? The jellyfish UFO.
Right.
I'm just saying they're here for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it is, but hopefully it's for good cause. But Christopher, thank you for tonight. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, everybody.
And from coast to coast around the world, ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you on tomorrow night's show. Bye-bye.
Keep your eyes to the sky.